Sorry for the delay in updates. I've recently had to deal with a huge income tax headache as I can't exactly report how I'm making all of this money, so I've been dealing with some people die. I don't care for being frightened or played with either. I called Ray. I figured since he's more of a threat towards children than he is to me, it couldn't hurt having him ride along.
Hello?
Ray answers in a whisper, as though he's trying not to wake up someone. He must be, working. Hi Ray, it's Jim. Listen, I had a really bad experience with a passenger and I want to know if you wouldn't mind riding along with me for the night. I realized how silly and selfish this sounded once I actually verbalized my request. Dope.
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, really? I say, shocked and relieved.
Yeah, I could use a break from the kids anyway.
You have children? I ask in surprise. Ray, a father?
Something like that.
Right, not his kids. Oh, sorry. I reply, shuddering the last comment off my skin. I'll pick you up at 11:45. Sound good?
Yep, gives me time to find my mask.
He replies nonchalantly. Cool. Thanks again, Ray. I'll see you in a couple of hours.
No problem, Jim.
He hangs up. I had some time before I had to pick up Ray, so I decided to give Adeline a call to make sure I wasn't going to break any rules. I don't necessarily care, but it would be my luck to cross the paths of two entities and accidentally open up a portal in my back seat. I guess I'm just trying to be cautious that I won't be starting a war from a shared ride. You never know.
Hi, Jim.
Adeline sings me to nausea as soon as she speaks. Hi, Adeline. Listen. I begin, hearing her type away in the background. I had a pretty weird experience with a passenger and I'd feel safer taking Ray with me. Is that cool? I finish, wincing at my own words.
Sure, Jim.
She answers plainly. Okay. Thanks. I'm a little suspicious of how easy that was.
Anything else, Jim?
She stops typing. I guess not. You're really okay with me having backup?
Absolutely, Jim. Your safety is important to us, and if having Ray with you makes you feel safe, then that's a reasonable request.
Are you being funny with me?
Nope. It's smart to have trinkets and guns, but
it's wise to understand that man has his limits in ability. Plus, having such a skilled entity as Ray in the car with you only makes the insurance companies happy with loss prevention and your initiative therein.
This was too easy. Maybe I'm just growing apprehensive in my old age. Thanks, Adeline. I think that's all. I finished, eyebrow raised.
Have a good evening, Jimmy boy.
I hang up after her sugary send-off. I pull up to the same dated suburban home I reported to the first time I ever drove for Cerber. Nothing has changed aside from the experiences I've gained. I would say that I'm an entirely different person now than I first was that night. Ray comes out, sporting the same grey hoodie and jeans. It's definitely a relief seeing him this time around. There's one difference to his attire. He's wearing the most atrocious dolly mask. A normal grown man wearing such a thing would be creepy, but imagine a 7-foot spook fest on stilts wearing a dolly mask. He looks like something straight out of Silent Hill. The mask has the typical blue eyeshadow, red lips, obnoxious blush, and a toothy grin, far too large in proportion to reality. Ray climbs into the car, grunting slightly since he's trying to cram himself in the front seat, not having the proper legroom. Are you going to get ass hurt if I ask you why you're wearing such a horrible mask? I ask him, wondering what could possibly be worse than that wretched mask. Want me to show you? I could hear his muffled snark. I'm brave, I'm tough. I can handle this. Yeah, show me your mug. I bet it's incomparable to that garbage on your face. Alright, if you say so. I was right, by the way. The mask was still way worse. Under the mask was nothing. Literally nothing. No identifiable features, just a smooth, pale canvas. It's like the artist forgot to sculpt the face. Yeah, dude, lose the mask, I tell him, as he sat frozen, not expecting that response. The mask only inflates fear factor. You're fine. Nah. He faces forward, putting the mask back on. I dislike your reaction. I'd rather you be uncomfortable. Thank you, though. I appreciate the honesty. He's odd. I picked up the right guy to spend the night with. This should be fun. So, where are we camping out? He asks, buckling up, knees close to his chin. I was thinking of parking at the SFO and seeing if anyone needs a lift from the airport. Typically that would be a good decision, however you're not transporting humans. The few occasions which entities decide to leave their haunt, they usually don't like to travel far. Not anywhere that would need an airplane, at least. I suggest Ocean Beach. There's a lot of ghosts swimming around in that area. I wish I would have thought of this sooner. I never even entertained the idea of the habitual nature in the paranormal. Thanks for the tip. I'll head over there. You should move the seat back a touch, by the way. We're about an hour out. I turn the keys in the ignition, and we hit 280 North. I park in front of the Cliff House, a restaurant that overlooks the shores of Ocean Beach. I ready the signal. Ray reclines to the best of his abilities as we listen to some mellow electronic music. I pull out a deck of cards and we play gin rummy for about 30 minutes before we get a request. The request came from someone named Yuki. Alright, looks like we're on, buddy, I say to Ray, putting my car into reverse. He nodded. I pull up to a warehouse that is glowing purple with smoke dripping out of the sides and loud music, causing this already unstable structure to shake. This is definitely a rave. Out stumbles this tiny Harajuku-looking lady, with long black hair, bright blue lipstick, very little white clothing, and shiny, bedazzled platform boots. She dances her way to my car, still feeling the effects of whatever party she just walked out of. I roll down my window. Hi, are you Yuki?
Yep. Are you Jimmy?
She asks, feeling my face with her icy hands.
Yes. Your hands.
Cold fingers drew the breath right out of my lungs.
OMG, your face is so warm. It feels so good.
Okay, I'm definitely being molested. Ray's laughing with a hand covering his mouth he doesn't actually have. This is still better than whispering torment. Yuki, why don't you get in the car? Ray finally says through snickers.
Ray? Is that you? It's been forever.
Yuki bolts into the car and hugs Ray from the back seat. You don't need to see a face to understand that he's wildly uncomfortable. I giggle at witnessing the pure karma. Yuki, are you alright? You're friendlier than normal. Did someone mess with your drink? Ray asks with concern.
No, silly. The humans really know how to have a good time. They gave me this thing called Molly, and let me tell you, I've never loved so hard before.
Yuki was running her hands over my back seat and giggling. Now that she's in closer view, she's absolutely stunning. Pale skin, blue makeup with rhinestones placed in flower configurations over her face and body. She was super cute. I look at Ray, who I'm sure still couldn't relax, and mouth the words, "You hit that?" just to make him that much more uncomfortable. He shakes his dolly head from side to side, folding his arms over his chest. I giggle again and set off to our destination, which was to an apartment complex in Daly City. About 2 minutes into the drive, Yuki quietly sneaks up behind me and begins touching my ears. I let out a yelp in cold shock.
Jimmy, do you think I'm pretty?
Oh, Jesus Christ, not this.
Of course, Yuki,
I reply through chattering teeth.
I don't believe you.
Suddenly my chest was getting tight, and I could see my breath in the car. I keep my car cold, but not that cold. Her hands had gone from my ears to my chest without me really noticing. My body was getting heavy from the radiating cold from her palms. My blood was literally turning to ice and was having trouble breathing. Ray senses my distress and says, "Yuki, please don't cause us to have an accident. Humans bleed. You don't want to get blood all over your cute outfit, do you?" Ray was strangely calm. Then again, it sounded like his main concern was a bloody mess instead of me dying from hypothermia.
You know what I am, Jimmy?
She says, ignoring Ray. I couldn't answer her. Air was too hard to come by to waste it on words, and I had to focus on not crashing. I was on Skyline Highway, making it difficult for me to pull over. Like a dunce, I just kept driving. Is it redundant to say I was trying to keep my cool? She didn't wait long for me to answer.
I'm an ice witch. I've never been fond of human men before. Not unless I'm starving, she threatened.
Yuki stayed perfectly still, allowing the frigid bonds to grip me tighter into place. It felt like the snowy hold of a boa constrictor.
I wonder, would Cerber actually miss this one driver? I mean, you're mostly just a warm walking liability at this point.
She's cut off and I hear the gentle thud of her body hit the back seat. Yuki, please, Ray said with mild frustration. I was able to breathe and warm up almost instantaneously. I stayed calm because Ray was calm. I've learned that if an entity is calm, there's no real reason to panic. I was annoyed and embarrassed, but calm.
I'm so sorry,
Yuki belted out, covering her mouth in shock of her own actions. She puts the polar in bipolar.
I hit one of those lows. Rolling can be a real trip sometimes.
Sounded like she was close to crying. It's okay, Yuki. You should drink some water. Jim usually has some in the back. I didn't appreciate Ray accepting her apology for me, but I likely would have done the same. Plus, I didn't want to aggravate the situation more. Yeah, there's a red cooler in the back with bottles of water. I'm sorry, but I don't have any spare men for you to snack on, I say, trying to lighten the mood. It worked. They both let out a short laugh as we finished the drive in silence.
Thank you, Jim,
Yuki says quietly and starts climbing out of my car.
I'm sorry again for my antics. I get really weird on recreational drugs.
She seemed decently sober now. Jim has a habit of getting his way into awkward situations. I think he can forgive this misdeed, Yuki, Ray says, putting a hand on my shoulder. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yuki smiles and says,
Bye, fellas. Thank you for getting me home safely. I do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for riding with Cerber and enjoy your evening. Although she nearly froze me over, she's still super hot. Ironic. Yuki saunters up to her apartment and turns off the porch light. I look at Ray and say, Thanks for that, man. I owe you. Your next ride is on me. I don't know what you're talking about, Ray teases. My phone chimes with a Cerber notification displaying the ride amount and tip. Yuki paid $6,211.86 and tipped $1,000 even. She gave me 5 bat wings and a review that said, if this thing would let me rate Jim 10 out of 10, I would give it 11. He's seriously the best. What the Why did she have to pay more than Goat? I exclaimed, heart thumping at my 7K haul. The Goat Man indiscriminately kills people after freaking them out. Yuki exclusively executes men. She really hates them. She must like you a lot to let you live. Ray has a dark sense of humor. I like that. Had nothing to do with your invisible spaghetti monster abilities, huh? I jest. Ray shrugs and laughs. I head over to Burlingame, parking my car on the waterfront on Bay Shore. Ray and I continued playing rummy as the planes landed across the water at the airport. By the way, Ray is shit at cards. It's hardly fair how many times I whooped his ass. After about an hour of spanking the Slendy at rummy, another request came in from Hillsborough by an entity named Bo. Finally, Ray said, slamming his cards down on the center console. I had a hand like a foot that round. I'm certain you bewitched this deck. Tch, sore loser. We pull up to a large estate that was shrouded in darkness. No lights were on in the house, and I couldn't see my own hands in front of my face. The back door opened, causing the cargo light to slice through the blinding blackout. I almost threw up when I saw it. Goat was back. Oh, hell no! Get out of my car! You! Fucking
Just fucking no! Out! Out! Ray! Ray!
I'm in full panic mode, flailing my arms around and throwing an absolute tantrum, about as composed as a chihuahua with fleas.
What ails you?
Bo says from the back seat. Jim, cool it, Ray says in an attempt to calm me down in a stern tone, but I interrupt him.
That's the asshole who messed with me the other night.
I turn to look at Bo and say,
What? You thought using a different name would mean I'd fall for this crap again? Nope. Get out!
Then it hit me. His eyes. They were that of a normal goat, yellow with the slit pupils. I stop and cock my head, realizing he was well dressed in a suit. He also had huge breasts pushing up against the button of his shirt. But the goat head? You're not goat? I ask, blushing at this thing's impressive boobs like a teenager getting a boner at an inappropriate time.
What on earth are you talking about?
Bo asks in confusion. He didn't seem offended, just entirely clueless as to why I had a full-on spaz attack. He thinks you're the goat, man, Ray says, exasperated.
Now Bo is offended. Is that supposed to be funny? Are you really so daft as to confuse me with that Machiavellian clown?
Oh, he's super pissed now.
I'm Baphomet, you half-witted ass!
I remember my sister being obsessed with Baphomet. She literally died looking for him. The Baphomet? I gripped the back of my seat with wide eyes. That of a fanboy meeting Stan Lee at Comic-Con.
What? Ray? What's going on? Do I need to request another driver? I haven't the patience for foolhardy humans,
Bo says, quickly losing his patience. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, sir. I know of you, and you were a really big deal to someone very close to me. I reply, trying to save the situation.
I see. Well, I'm not the goat man. I don't play with my food.
We all paused for a second before cracking up in unison. Truly a pleasure to meet you, Baphomet. Do you prefer Bo? Would you like some water? Is there anything I can do to accommodate you properly? I have no idea who I just turned into, but I was very excited to be in his presence.
You can take me to the airport,
Bo says, pointing to my phone on the dash. Right, of course, on the double. I look at Ray and say, You said... and quickly stop my sentence because I'm still regaining the notion of couth. Ray shrugs and says, I said typically. Baphomet isn't typical. I know he thinks that was a smooth reply, but it was a cop-out. I need to remember to give him shit about that later. To my disappointment, Baphomet spent a lot of his time talking on his phone to some scientist in New Mexico. I don't know if this person was actually a scientist, but after I heard the word quantum being thrown around, I quickly realized this conversation was way too adult and sciencey for me to tune into. I pull up to a private airport drop-off where a Learjet was being prepared, rush out of my car and open the door for Baphomet. Yes, I realize this may have been overkill, but I really wanted him to request me in the future. Thank you so much for choosing Cerber and gracing me with your presence, sir. Okay, yeah, overdone.
The pleasure was mine, James.
Thank you for the safe transport. Baphomet hands me a gold coin and says,
Keep this on your person as often as you can. You'll know when to use it and how, when the time comes.
Cryptic, I begin. Thank you, Baphomet. It truly is a pleasure to meet you.
You said that already, James.
Right, sorry. Have a safe trip. I stand outside of my car until Baphomet makes a safe entry into the plane. Once the plane began moving, I got back into my car. That was so cool, I say, staring out the front window. You're a fool, James Atwell. Ray laughs. My phone dings again with the balance, tip, and review. Strangely, Baphomet's balance was 0, but he tipped me 3,000 and wrote a review saying, Choose no one else. Jim ensures comedy and comfort. I was not disappointed. I'm confused. What is it with the scale on Baphomet? Baphomet isn't dangerous. In fact, quite the opposite. Baphomet is a deity of knowledge. He's a rare entity that isn't actually dangerous to humans. Unless you're a staunch Christian. The ones that hate gay people and humans with disabilities, those are the ones that fear Baphomet because he challenges spiritualism with fact. I'm guessing he tipped you out of pity. You're pretty pathetic. Ray finishes. He wasn't wrong. Okay, let's all take turns digging at the human, I reply sarcastically. You've got courage, Jim. Anyone who lives through this usually quits within their first client. Stupidity is probably your greatest defense, if I'm being truthful. Okay, Ray, I put the car in reverse. So, want to go to San Bruno and grab some coffee from Starbucks? They have a location that's open 24/7. See, rolls right off you. That's the spirit. Ray nods. Yeah, I could go for a frappuccino. You're buying, though. You lost too many hands at rummy for me to let it slide, I say, taking 101 north towards San Francisco. Damn it, Ray finishes in defeat. I think I'll take the next ride solo. Ray is right. I'm brave. I can do this on my own. I am incredibly grateful for his company, though. Ray is all right.